The massive starship, Nemesis, emerged from hyperspace, its hull gleaming with an otherworldly sheen. Captain Alara Voss stood on the bridge, her piercing gaze fixed on the view screen before her. There it was Earth, or rather, what remained of it. Impossible! First Officer Talon Reith exclaimed, his voice a mixture of awe and disbelief. After all this time, it's still here? Alara's lips curled into a grim smile. Did you expect anything less from our homeworld, Talon? Even after 50,000 years, Earth endures. The blue-green orb hung in space, a testament to the resilience of a world that had faced unimaginable devastation. Scars of ancient bombardments were still visible from orbit, continents reshaped by the fury of a long-forgotten war. Life signs detected, Captain, reported Science Officer Zira Nix, her multifaceted eyes scanning the readouts. Impossible to determine species from this distance, but it's teeming with activity. Alara nodded, her resolve strengthening. Prepare the landing party. It's time we reclaimed what's ours. As the Nemesis entered orbit, tension crackled through the air like electricity. Every crew member knew the weight of this moment. Humanity's return to its cradle after 50 millennia of exile. The shuttle bay doors opened, revealing a fleet of sleek drop ships. Alara strapped herself into the lead vessel, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and trepidation. Remember your training, she addressed her team over the comm. We may look like them now, but we are not the same humans who fled this world. We are stronger, we are smarter, and we will not be defeated again. A chorus of determined, "Aye, Captain," echoed through the channel. As the drop ships plummeted through the atmosphere, Alara's mind raced back to the stories passed down through generations. Tales of a glorious civilization brought low by an alien menace. The Karthalas Empire, a name that still sparked fury in the hearts of every human child. The ships touched down in what was once called North America, now a sprawling wilderness reclaimed by nature. As the hatch opened, Alara took her first breath of Earth's air. It was different, richer, filled with scents her ancestors had long forgotten. Spread out, secure the perimeter, she barked, her enhanced senses on high alert. That's when they heard it, a low, rumbling growl that seemed to shake the very ground beneath their feet. From the dense foliage emerged a creature that defied description. Part machine, part beast, its eyes glowed with an eerie intelligence. What in the name of? Talon's exclamation was cut short as the creature charged. Alara's reflexes, honed by centuries of selective breeding and genetic enhancement, kicked in. Her plasma rifle was up and firing before conscious thought could intervene. The creature stumbled, its hide smoking from the impact, but it didn't fall. Formation Delta, Alara shouted, and her team moved with practiced precision. As they engaged the beast, more emerged from the forest. It was clear that Earth had not been idle in humanity's absence. Evolution, or perhaps something more sinister, had crafted new apex predators to fill the void. The battle was fierce but short. When the last creature fell, Alara surveyed her team. No casualties. Good. They were living up to the legacy of their forebears. Zira, analysis, Alara commanded, gesturing to the fallen beasts. The science officer ran her scanner over the creatures, her expression growing more perplexed by the second. Captain, these beings, they're not natural. The cybernetic components are far too advanced to be random mutation. Someone, or something, made these. A chill ran down Alara's spine. Could it be? After all this time? You mean? Zira nodded grimly. The Karthalas, or their descendants, they're still here. The implications hit Alara like a quantum torpedo. Their mission had just become far more complicated. This wasn't just about reclaiming a lost homeworld. They were facing the very enemy that had driven humanity to the stars. Team, listen up. Alara's voice cut through the stunned silence. Our ancestors may have been driven from Earth, but we are not them. We are the products of 50,000 years of adaptation, of struggle, of never giving up. The Karthalas thought they broke us, but they only made us stronger. A chorus of determined shouts answered her. The fire of righteous anger burned in every eye. We came here for Retribution, Ilera continued, her voice rising with passion. But now we fight for something more. We fight for our future, for our right to reclaim our home. As if in response to her words, the ground trembled. In the distance, a massive structure began to rise from beneath the earth. A spire of alien design, its surface flickering with energy fields beyond human understanding. Ilera's grip tightened on her weapon. Looks like the welcoming committee is rolling out the red carpet. Shall we go say hello? With grim determination, the human strike team moved out. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. But Ilera felt no fear. Only a burning desire to right ancient wrongs and prove, once and for all, that humanity would not be so easily extinguished. As they approached the alien structure, Ilera couldn't help but smile. The Carthalas were about to learn a harsh lesson. You should have made damn sure we were finished 50,000 years ago. Because now it's our turn. As Ilera and her team cautiously approached the towering alien spire, the air around them seemed to shimmer with an otherworldly energy. Each step brought with it a flood of ancestral memories, passed down through generations via genetic encoding. A failsafe to ensure humanity never forgot its roots or its purpose. Captain, Zero whispered, her multifaceted eyes darting nervously. I'm picking up unusual temporal disturbances. It's as if the very fabric of space-time is rippling around us. Suddenly, the world lurched. Ilera felt a sickening sensation, as if her entire being was being pulled apart and reassembled. When her vision cleared, she gasped. The lush, overgrown wilderness was gone. In its place stood a gleaming metropolis, Earth as it had been 50,000 years ago, moments before its fall. What the hell? Talon exclaimed, his weapon raised defensively. Ilera's mind raced. It's a memory projection. The Carthalas must be using it to disorient us. Stay focused, team. As they moved through the Phantom City, scenes from humanity's last stand played out around them. Civilians ran screaming as massive Carthalas war machines stomped through streets, their energy weapons reducing buildings to ash. A holographic news anchor's voice echoed from a nearby building. This is not a drill. All citizens are urged to evacuate to designated spaceports immediately. The Carthalas invasion force has breached our outer defenses and the transmission cut to static. Ilera's fists clenched. She'd heard the stories, seen the historical recreations, but to witness it like this, it made her blood boil. They rounded a corner and came face to face with a group of human resistance fighters. Their primitive weapons looked pathetically inadequate against the Carthalas technology, but their eyes burned with determination. One of them, a grizzled man with a makeshift energy rifle, turned to address his comrades. Listen up, you beautiful bastards. We might not win this war, but we'll make these alien SOBs remember Earth. For every human they kill, we'll take 10 of them down. A chorus of defiant cheers erupted from the group before they charged towards an approaching Carthalas patrol. Talon moved to intervene, but Ilera held him back. They're not real, remember? Just echoes of the past. They watched, hearts heavy, as the brave humans were cut down. But true to their word, they took a significant number of Carthalas with them. Damned impressive, Zira muttered, her scientific detachment slipping for a moment. Even with inferior tech, they managed to inflict substantial damage. Ilera nodded grimly. And now we're back to finish what they started. As they progressed deeper into the memory projection, the scenes grew more intense. They witnessed the last-ditch efforts of Earth's greatest minds, working tirelessly to develop weapons that could turn the tide. Fragments of conversations floated around them. The quantum disruptor is our best shot. If we can destabilize their matter/energy conversion, forget that. We need to focus on the Exodus ships. If we can't save Earth, we can at least ensure humanity's survival. But what about the Lazarus Protocol? We can't just abandon. The voices faded, leaving Ilera and her team with more questions than answers. What was the Lazarus Protocol? And how did it relate to their mission now? As they neared the central plaza, where the alien spire now stood in their own time, the memory projection reached its horrifying climax. The sky turned blood red as thousands of Karthala ships descended, their weapons primed. A booming, inhuman voice echoed across the city. Humans of Earth, your resistance is futile and illogical. Surrender now, and you may yet serve a purpose in the greater galactic order. From a nearby government building, a defiant response rang out. You on Earth? Then you'll have to pry it from our cold, dead hands. What followed was an apocalypse of light and sound. Energy beams crisscrossed the sky, leveling entire city blocks. The ground shook with the impact of antimatter bombs. And through it all, humanity fought back with everything they had. Alara watched in awe as ordinary civilians took up arms, as scientists turned their laboratories into fortresses, as children no older than 10 piloted jury-rigged fighter craft on suicide runs against Karthala's capital ships. By the void, Talon breathed. How did we ever think we could match this courage? Alara's voice was steel. We don't match it, Talon. We exceed it. Our ancestors bought us 50,000 years with their sacrifice. Now we show the galaxy what humanity did with that time. As the memory projection reached its zenith, with Earth's defenses crumbling and the Karthala's victory all but assured, something unexpected happened. A blinding light erupted from beneath their feet, right where the alien spire would stand millennia later. The light engulfed everything, and for a moment, Alara felt a sense of connection, as if every human who had ever lived or would ever live was linked in that instant. Then, as suddenly as it began, the memory projection vanished. They were back in the overgrown wilderness of present-day Earth, the alien spire looming before them. Zira's instruments were going haywire. Captain, that light? It wasn't part of the projection. I think we just witnessed a genuine historical event, one that was erased from our records. Alara's mind raced with possibilities. The Lazarus Protocol? Before anyone could respond, the ground beneath them began to tremble. The alien spire pulsed with energy, and a deep, resonant hum filled the air. Life forms detected boomed an inhuman voice, eerily similar to the one from the memory projection. Genetic analysis confirms. Human. Impossible. Illogical. Unacceptable. Alara raised her weapon, a fierce grin spreading across her face. Oh, we're very possible. And we're back, you overgrown calculators. As if in response, panels on the spire slid open, revealing an army of cybernetic monstrosities, the evolved forms of the Karthalas they had faced 50,000 years ago. Team, Alara called out, her voice steady and determined. Remember your training. Remember the sacrifices that brought us here. And most importantly, remember that we are humanity's revenge. With a primal roar that echoed across the millennia, Alara and her team charged forward. The battle for Earth, the real battle, was about to begin, and this time, humanity had no intention of losing. As Alara and her team braced for the onslaught of cybernetic Karthala's monstrosities, a blinding light erupted from her wrist communicator. The air crackled with energy, and suddenly, they were no longer on Earth's surface. What the? Talon sputtered. Looking around in confusion, they found themselves in a vast, holographic chamber aboard the Nemesis. The walls shimmered with images of stars, galaxies, and the vast expanse of space. A booming voice, filled with authority and a hint of amusement, echoed through the chamber. Well, well, well. Looks like the cubs have returned to the den, teeth bared and claws sharpened. Alara's eyes widened in recognition. Grand Admiral Thorn? But how? The holographic image of a wizened old man, his face crisscrossed with scars and his eyes gleaming with cybernetic enhancements, materialized before them. You didn't think we'd send you in without a failsafe, did you? Welcome to the real mission briefing, kids. As the team gathered their wits, Admiral Thorn's expression grew serious. What you experienced down there was more than just a memory. It was a test, and I'm proud to say you passed with flying colors. Zira stepped forward, her scientific curiosity piqued. Admiral, the light we saw at the end of the projection, was that the Lazarus Protocol? Thorn finished for her. Yes and no. It's time you learned the truth about humanity's journey among the stars. The holographic chamber came to life, showing scenes from humanity's exodus from Earth. When the Carthalas attacked, Thorn narrated, "We were outgunned and outmatched. But we had one advantage they couldn't account for: human ingenuity." The images showed scientists working feverishly in hidden bunkers, their faces illuminated by the glow of exotic energy sources. The Lazarus Protocol wasn't just a last-ditch weapon, Thorn continued. It was a cosmic reset button. When activated, it didn't just drive the Carthalas from Earth. It catapulted a portion of humanity forward in time, giving us the chance to evolve, adapt, and prepare for our return. Alera's mind reeled at the implications. "You mean, we've been planning this for 50,000 years? Thorn nodded, a fierce grin on his face. Every generation, every technological breakthrough, every genetic enhancement, it was all leading to this moment. The holographic display shifted, showing humanity's journey through the stars. They watched in awe as their ancestors established hidden colonies, developed technologies that bordered on the miraculous, and slowly but surely prepared for the day they would reclaim their homeworld. But why wait so long? Talon asked, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and frustration. Thorn's expression darkened. Because, lad, the Carthalas aren't just an alien empire. They're galactic gardeners. The display showed massive Carthalas ships terraforming planets, seeding life, and guiding the evolution of countless species. Every 50,000 years, they return to their gardens to harvest the most promising species, integrating them into their collective. Those who resist. Thorn's voice trailed off, the implication clear. So Earth wasn't special? Zira asked, her voice small. Oh, but it was. Thorn boomed. Humanity's resistance was unlike anything they'd ever encountered. We terrified them. That's why they've kept such a close watch on Earth all these millennia. The images shifted again, showing the incredible advancements humanity had made in secret. Faster-than-light travel that bent the very fabric of space-time. Weapons that could unmake matter at a subatomic level. And most impressively, genetic enhancements that pushed the very boundaries of what it meant to be human. You, my dear children, Thorn said, his voice filled with pride, are the culmination of 50,000 years of human evolution and technological advancement. You are our best and brightest, our sword and shield against the Carthalas' menace. Alera stood tall, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. What's our next move, Admiral? Thorn's hologram stepped closer, his eyes burning with intensity. The spire you saw? It's not just a Carthalas outpost. It's a beacon, calling their harvest fleet to Earth. Your mission is to infiltrate it, override its systems, and turn it into a trap for our enemy. The holographic chamber filled with technical schematics and battle plans. As the team absorbed the information, Thorn continued. But remember this, we're not just fighting for revenge. We're fighting for the right of every species in this galaxy to determine its own destiny. The age of the Carthalas ends today. As the briefing concluded, Alera felt a surge of determination unlike anything she'd ever experienced. They were no longer just soldiers or explorers. They were the vanguard of humanity's triumphant return, the culmination of 50,000 years of hope, sacrifice, and relentless preparation. Team, she said, her voice ringing with authority, you've all seen where we came from. You know what's at stake. When we beam back down to that planet, we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for every human who lived and died dreaming of this day. We're fighting for every alien race that suffered under Carthala's rule. And most importantly, we're fighting for a future where humanity takes its rightful place among the stars. A chorus of cheers erupted from her team. The air crackled with energy and anticipation. Admiral Thorn's hologram saluted them, his scarred face beaming with pride. Give 'em hell, kids. Show the galaxy what humanity can really do. As the transport beam engulfed them, Alera's last thought before rematerializing on Earth's surface was simple yet profound. The Carthalas thought they were gods, playing with the fate of entire civilizations. But they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Never underestimate the children of Earth. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was more than ready. The team materialized at the base of the towering Carthala spire, their enhanced bodies humming with barely contained energy. Alera's eyes narrowed as she took in the scene before them. Well, would you look at that? Talon whispered, a hint of awe in his voice. Seems like our ancestors left us a welcome party. Strewn across the overgrown plaza were the remains of ancient human war machines. Tanks fused with alien tech, powered armor suits that looked like they'd stepped out of myth, and weapons that defied easy classification. All of them showed signs of recent activation. Zira's multifaceted eyes widened as her scanners went wild. Captain, these aren't just relics. They're active. It's as if they were waiting for us. Ilera grinned fiercely. The Lazarus Protocol at work. All right, team, gear up. Let's show these Carthalas bastards what 50,000 years of human ingenuity looks like. As they approached the ancient weapons, each piece seemed to come alive, interfaces flickering to life and recognizing their genetic signatures. Ilera felt a surge of connection as she donned a set of powered armor, its systems integrating seamlessly with her enhanced physiology. Oh, hell yes, Talon exclaimed, hefting a massive gun that crackled with unknown energies. This is gonna be fun. No sooner had they armed themselves than the ground began to shake. The spire pulsed with malevolent energy, and from its base poured a horde of Carthala's warforms, a nightmarish fusion of organic and machine, each one a living weapon. A booming voice, filled with cold logic and barely contained fury, echoed across the battlefield. Humans, your continued existence is an anomaly. Your resistance is illogical. Submit to assimilation or face extinction. Ilera's laugh was sharp and defiant. Sorry, Rust Bucket. Humanity doesn't do submission. You want us? Come and get us. With a primal roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of the earth, Ilera and her team charged forward. The clash of human and Carthala's forces was cataclysmic. Energy beams crisscrossed the air, tearing chunks out of the landscape. Talon's weapon roared to life, each shot disintegrating swaths of enemy forces. Zira danced through the chaos, her enhanced reflexes allowing her to anticipate and counter every Carthala's move. And at the heart of it all was Ilera, a whirlwind of destruction in her ancestral armor. Every punch shattered Carthala's warforms, every leap carried her over waves of enemies, and her battle cry seemed to ignite the very air around her. As they fought, the true extent of humanity's preparations became clear. Hidden defense systems, dormant for millennia, sprang to life across the planet. Orbital platforms, cloaked and waiting, revealed themselves and began raining death upon Carthala's reinforcements. But the aliens were not to be underestimated. For every warform destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. The spire pulsed with ever-increasing power, and Ilera realized with growing dread that they were running out of time. Team, she shouted over the din of battle, we need to get inside that spire now. If we don't shut it down, the entire Carthala's harvest fleet will be here before we know it. Zira's voice crackled over the comm, Captain. I'm detecting a weak point in their defenses. If we can synchronize our attacks, we might be able to punch through. Ilera nodded grimly. You heard her. Concentrate fire. What followed was a display of teamwork and firepower that would have made their ancestors proud. Talon's heavy weapon carved a path, Zira's precise strikes took out key defensive nodes, and Ilera's relentless assault kept the enemy off balance. With a final, earth-shattering explosion, they breached the spire's outer defenses. As they rushed inside, the scene that greeted them was beyond anything they had imagined. The interior of the spire was a vast, pulsating organism of metal and flesh. Countless pods lined the walls, each containing what looked like a hybridized Carthalas being in various stages of evolution. By all that's holy, Talon breathed, his usual bravado momentarily shaken. What is this place? Zira's scanners whirred furiously. It's a nursery, an evolutionary chamber. They're not just harvesting species, they're rewriting the very code of life itself, Ilera finished, her voice grim. This ends now. As they pushed deeper into the heart of the spire, they encountered increasingly bizarre and powerful Carthala's guardians. Each battle was fiercer than the last, pushing their enhanced bodies and ancient weapons to the limit. Finally, they reached the central chamber. There, suspended in a web of energy and biomechanical tendrils, was a being that could only be described as a Karthala's god machine. Its form shifted and pulsed, as if it existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Its voice, when it spoke, seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Humans, you have surpassed all projections. Your species' potential is unprecedented. Join us. Become part of the greater whole. Ascend beyond your limited forms. For a moment, Alara felt the pull of its words. The promise of power, of transcendence, was almost overwhelming. But then she remembered the sacrifices of her ancestors, the untold billions who had died so that humanity could have this chance. Her voice, when she responded, was filled with all the fury and determination of her species. We've seen what your ascension looks like, and will pass. Humanity's strength isn't in shedding our nature, it's in embracing it. Our chaos, our passion, our defiance in the face of impossible odds. That's what makes us who we are. And that's what's going to kick your ass. With that, Alara and her team launched into their final assault. The chamber became a maelstrom of energy, flesh, and metal as human and Karthalas clashed in a battle that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. As alarms blared and the spire began to shake around them, Alara realized that this was it, the moment everything had been leading to. With a primal scream that seemed to channel the voices of every human who had ever lived, she delivered the final, devastating blow. The Karthala's god machine's scream of defeat echoed across dimensions as its form began to unravel. The spire shuddered, energy cascading out of control. "Run!" Alara shouted, grabbing her teammates and charging towards the exit. As they emerged from the collapsing spire, the sky above them lit up with the arrival of the human fleet, thousands of ships, each one a testament to 50,000 years of preparation and determination. Alara looked up, a fierce grin on her face despite her exhaustion. The battle for Earth was won, but the war for the galaxy's future was just beginning, and humanity was more than ready to take its place among the stars. The sky above Earth blazed with the light of 1,000 suns as the human fleet engaged the arriving Karthala's harvest armada. Alara and her team, battered but unbowed, stood atop a hill overlooking the ruins of the alien spire, watching the battle unfold. It's beautiful," Zira whispered, her multifaceted eyes reflecting the cosmic light show above. Talon let out a low whistle. "Never thought I'd see the day. Humanity, fighting for the fate of the galaxy. We've come a long way from cowering in caves, huh?" Alara nodded, her face a mask of fierce pride. "This is what we were born for, what our ancestors died for, and we're not going to let them down." As if in response to her words, their comms crackled to life. Admiral Thorne's gruff voice filled their ears. "Attention all Earthside forces. The Karthala's fleet is in disarray. Their central intelligence was housed in that spire you just took down. Without it, they're just a bunch of fancy toasters waiting to be scrapped. But we're not out of the woods yet. Stand by for emergency transport." Before they could respond, the familiar tingle of the transport beam enveloped them. In a blink, they found themselves on the bridge of the Nemesis, surrounded by a flurry of activity. Admiral Thorne stood at the center of it all, his cybernetic eyes gleaming with a mixture of pride and concern. "Welcome aboard, you beautiful bastards. Glad to see Earth didn't chew you up and spit you out." Alara saluted crisply. "Sir, what's the situation?" Thorne's expression grew grim. "We've got good news and bad news. The good news is, with the destruction of their central hub on Earth, the entire Karthala's network is in chaos. Their ships are fighting each other as much as they're fighting us." "And the bad news?" Talon asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "The bad news," Thorne continued, "is that they've initiated some kind of doomsday protocol. If we don't shut it down, they'll take half the galaxy with them." Zira's eyes widened in horror. "But that would mean the extinction of countless species, including our own," Alara finished, her voice hard. "What do you need us to do, Admiral?" Thorne's face split into a fierce grin. "That's what I like to hear. We've identified the Karthala's flagship. It's at the heart of their fleet, protected by their most advanced defenses. We need a team to infiltrate it, and shut down their doomsday device from the inside. "Let me guess," Talon quipped. "We're volunteering?" "Damn straight you are," Thorn nodded. "You're the best we've got, and more importantly, you've got experience with their tech now. If anyone can pull this off, it's you three." As the team prepared for their final mission, the bridge erupted into a flurry of activity. Weapons were calibrated, shields were reinforced, and battle plans were laid out. Alara took a moment to look out at the vast expanse of space, at the battle raging around them. For a moment, she felt the weight of all of human history on her shoulders. But then she felt the presence of her teammates beside her, and her resolve hardened. "All right, team," she said, her voice ringing with determination. "One last push. For Earth. For humanity. For every species that's ever dreamed of freedom from the Carthalas. Are you with me?" "To the end," Captain Zira nodded, her usually analytical demeanor replaced by fierce determination. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," Talon grinned, checking his weapons one last time. As they made their way to the launch bay, Admiral Thorn's voice echoed through the ship. "Attention all hands. This is it, the moment everything has been leading to. For 50,000 years, we've carried the torch of humanity among the stars. We've evolved, we've adapted, but we've never forgotten where we came from. Today, we return home not just as conquerors, but as liberators. Show these Carthalas bastards what humanity is really capable of." The cheers that erupted shook the very foundations of the ship. As Alara and her team boarded their assault craft, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. Whatever happened next, humanity had proven itself. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had been scattered to the stars and forged an unbreakable bond. They had been hunted, and now they were the hunters. The launch bay doors opened, revealing the chaos of the space battle outside. Alara took a deep breath, her hands steady on the controls. "For Earth," she whispered. "For humanity. For the future." With that, they shot out into the void, their small craft weaving through the titanic battle towards the heart of the Carthalas fleet. Around them, human ships danced and weaved, their advanced technology making a mockery of the Carthalas' defenses. As they approached the massive Carthalas flagship, Alara allowed herself a small smile. The Carthalas had thought they were gods, playing with the fate of entire civilizations. But they were about to learn a harsh lesson. Humanity doesn't bow to gods. We overthrow them. The final battle for the galaxy's future had begun, and humanity, in all its chaotic, passionate, defiant glory, was leading the charge. As their ship pierced the outer defenses of the Carthalas flagship, Alara felt a surge of pride and determination. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever cosmic horrors the Carthalas might unleash, one thing was certain: humanity was back, and the galaxy would never be the same again.